Hey everybody, welcome back. We are here for another episode of BAFSAF, episode 21. We've hit our first day of the month, February, and we're going to talk about love. Us being entitled Love Being the Inevitable. We'll get into all that here in just a moment, but I just wanted to take time to go over a few things, let you all know what's going to happen for the month to come. How are you? How you been? How was your week? How's your week going so far? How was your January? You don't have to answer this out loud, but you get your W-2? You file your taxes? Are you getting any money back? If you are, take a moment to feel good about that, getting that money that we are owed ourselves, but we've been given to Uncle Sam for some reason, and that allowance feels good, don't it? But for everyone getting some money back, enjoy it. Don't spend it all in one place unless it's like a car or a house. And make sure you got some savings to back up just in case anything happens. For anyone who's got to pay. I know how that feels. It sucks. It sucks. So want to thank everybody for stopping in, whether you're streaming or viewing on YouTube or just Twitch. I'm gonna go ahead and get the month of February schedule, just in case anyone hasn't been able to stop by on the socials that I've been posting, keeping updated as best as my ability. Everything pretty not self-explanatory. Everything pretty standard. Nothing's really changed. Let's see. So from today all the way to Monday. Let's see. Of course, Friday to Sunday is my game stream. So I forgot what the camera rolls. I'll be doing that from 11 p.m. to about 2 or 3 Central Standard Time, depending on how tired I am. Friday to Sunday, and then next Wednesday on the 7th, we've got Sketch and Catch featuring Trey, who's going to be hosting. So hope you get to hop in or stick around for that. And of course, that following Friday to Sunday is the game stream at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time each night. And then for all the viewers who participate and celebrate, we have Valentine's Day coming up on the 14th. Now, for a reminder, whoever needs it, because I like to be reminded, I'm pointing at a calendar. Wednesday the 14th, so you got 2 weeks to get that gift. Chocolates, get those flowers ready, save that money, get you a little $30-$40 and you can buy all that cheap. Just make sure you take the price tag off. Following that Valentine's Day Wednesday, the Thursday we will return as BAFSAF. We're going to be talking about relationships on that day. Like I said, this month is a two-parter. The reason why I set it up that way is, one, you can't have a relationship without love, and two, I want to see who all is still sticking around after Valentine's Day. I'm gonna ruin it. Ruin the rest of your month. I'm playing. Game streaming Friday the 16th to the 18th, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we're back for Wednesday the 21st with Sketch and Catch featuring Trey. He will be hosting that episode as well. He doesn't know yet, but I'm gonna make him do it. Well, not make him, but I mean, he's gonna do it. Game streaming from the 23rd to 25th at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then, folks, I forgot until I was reminded before I posted it. We get an extra Thursday. So, BAFSAF will return February 29th. And everything plays out well, I'll have a very special guest with us that day. One very much needed guest that should have been on before, but schedules and such. So another piece of information, if you haven't seen, I am still catching up with all the video editing of all the other episodes, but unfortunately, because I didn't do my checking due to technical difficulties, meaning volume too loud, 2 of the episodes on this channel won't be posted. It's episode BAFSAF episode 15 and Sketch and Catch episode 7, I believe. Music was way too loud. I mean, you can hear me, but it's just, especially in Sketch and Catch, because I'm still trying to get the positioning of the mics correct, and so sometimes both mics will pick up one voice and it causes that reverb. Very annoying. But yeah, no, I couldn't really do anything with the videos. The music was so loud, and I didn't want to do that to anyone wearing headphones or having speakers. And you know, like, you're trying to hear me talk, and then in the middle of me talking, it's like being kind of like being at a bar. Music's a little bit too loud, and you're trying to talk to your friends, and you're just like, what? You know, I didn't want to do that to anyone. So unfortunately, those episodes won't air edited, but I think I left them on live, in the live category on YouTube, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, other than that, let's go ahead and get to this weather. You know, let's just get into it. Let's just figure out what this weather's supposed to be like, because it's been pretty good. I'm loving the spring weather. I saw a post before I get into it. I already have it pulled up. I saw a post said that like, it was like a news, like the Weather Channel. They posted like how the transitions from the winter going into spring is, and apparently we're in fake spring and we're supposed to be hit with another weather. It usually happens between January and February, as you're familiar with if you're in the Midwest area. I don't know about any other regions, so but that's just how it is for us. But yeah, so I feel like, you know, enjoy what you have while you can. Get outside. Unfortunately, this weekend it's gonna be raining, so after this weekend, come Monday, Tuesday, get out there, get some sun, enjoy that weather. So going right into it, tomorrow's Friday the 2nd, and we're looking at a high of 63, a low of 52. I'm showing mostly cloudy, but my other applications are showing that it's supposed to be raining tomorrow evening, so be prepared for that if you're going out. Saturday the 3rd, we're looking at a high of 56, low of 45, raining all day. Just rain. That's what it says. Rain. Sunday the 4th, high of 50, low of 38, with some showers. So if you didn't take one, get your butt out there with some soap. Wash that booty. Monday the 5th, high of 53, low of 34. Going to be partly cloudy from Monday and Tuesday, which Tuesday is a high of 59, low of 45. Wednesday and Thursday are going to mirror that, but we're going to get some wind going. Wednesday being high of 62, low of 49. Thursday the 8th being high of 65, low of 39. The nights are going to stay a little cool, so make sure you're properly dressed if you're going out in the evenings, or you know, don't have a lot of heat going on at night at home. Let's see, Friday the 9th, we have a high of 58, low of 36, mostly sunny. Saturday the 10th, we've got a high of 57, low of 35, and that's rolling into a evening showers. Sunday the 11th, we're going to be high of 51, low of 31 with all day showers. Monday the 12th, we're looking at high of 51, low of 29. It's going to be partly cloudy from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Both Tuesday and Wednesday being a high of 48, low of 29. So dress appropriately on Valentine's Day. It's going to be a little cold that night. So fellas, if you got a date and she says that she doesn't need a coat, bring the coat. And then when we return on Thursday the 15th, we're looking at a high of 49, a low of 29, mostly sunny. So looks like we're getting back into the cool, colder points of the week of Valentine's Day. So bundle up if you're going to be out. If not, I recommend saving the money, saving the time, saving the reservations, and just cook. Just cook. So many ways to figure out how to cook if you don't know how to cook. YouTube it, and then just you know, have fun. Make sure you pay attention. Don't burn your kitchen down for Valentine's Day. You don't want that. Now, a couple things I did want to announce for this month, other than the schedule that I just announced. It is Lunar New Year on starting the February 10th. for Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese. I know Chinese and Vietnamese is February 10th, but I think Japanese, Korean are also added for that day. But from what I understand, different different Asian cultures separated like throughout all the way up until May. But I've never actually understood. Like, I don't know the actual truth behind that. I just know from I know some Cambodians who celebrate it in like March and April, or Tao who celebrated around that time as well. The account said here Twitch quality wouldn't lower, so it kept buffering. Oh, is that on my end? Is that me? Oh, okay. Oh, looks like it. Oh. Oh, you said Twitch. Okay. You're on YouTube. I see that you're on YouTube. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate seeing you here. Go ahead and close this out so I don't overdo my computer. So yeah, like I was saying, quality swap just wasn't optimal. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so for me, being Vietnamese, I know it's on the 10th of February, but I think it's down the line for other Asian races like Tao, Taiwan. There's so many. Right now I'm drawing a blank for some reason. But yeah, I mean, if you're not familiar with, if you have Asian friends and you want to be more involved, just look up Lunar New Year for that specific race. Of like if they're Korean. Why am I forgetting all these other races? John says, I'd be the highest viewer literally right now. What did the pilot say? How high are you guys right now? Sean is all mine not here. Oh yeah, you've got Koreans buddies, yeah. Sean's taking the lovely liberty of joining in from thousands of feet above. He's taking a flight back home. I'm glad to have him in. But yeah, check in with Google or Bing, whoever you search engine with. See when Lunar New Year's for your specific Asian nationality, and then have fun celebrating. Stay safe. Don't get too drunk. Don't eat too much. And yeah, do your prayers, do your temples, have a good time. It is 33 to 35,000 feet above. You high as alien balls. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it rolling here. Now I'm gonna get plastered. That includes you too, bro. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm here. So I don't necessarily celebrate, but I actually wanted to do something for for once, for Black History Month. I was just reminded that it was Black History Month, like very recently, and I was like, oh, I almost forgot. Nothing specific as to why I don't celebrate. It's just I don't know. I've never really. I get why the month means something in Black American culture, but to me, I think it seems like it's a low offer. It was a low ball to just be like, oh, here's a month. I think throughout the entirety of the year, like, we should be able to plant certain things to represent the history and the struggles of not only Black Americans and slavery and the segregation and the civil rights movement, but also any other nationality and race that was in arms, in aid and assistance with everything changing. The Caucasians who were on board with the anti-segregation laws and everything, and the ones who like JFK, he was a really the iconic symbol pioneer of being Caucasian and saying, hey, this isn't fair, but that's him being the president at one point in time, that he would be one of the biggest ones, but he wasn't the only one. And just the more notable because of his presidency, but that's what I mean. But I just, me being more than one race, it's kind of hard for me to, I don't know. I feel like when I was growing up, I felt like I was I wasn't actually pressured, but sometimes there would be people or certain events that would make me remind myself like, hey, or not remind, almost try to subjugate me to being just Black. I mean, the color of my skin, I could either be African American or Native American, which I also am. But when I would tell people, they're like, oh, so the question would always come up, what do you fill out when you're signing documents and stuff? And there was a point in time where they made you choose one. They made you choose one primary race, which I hated because I was like, that's not fair. I don't want to sit here and say I'm only Black when I'm more than one race. But I was very appreciative when all the forums started saying multi-race or more than two races. Which is weird that it was not Hispanic or not Pacific Islander or something like that. But I really enjoyed seeing that and filling that bubble because, and I'm not just one ethnicity. I'm not just one background. Like my family spread out all through the world. But I didn't like feeling that I was only African American. And then of course being pressured by other African Americans, some being friends, some just being people that I knew. It would always, not always, there would be times that would come up where they disregarded my opinion because I wasn't full Black. They're like, oh, you're not even all the way Black, you don't matter, or and I'm like, oh, that shouldn't mean anything, that's not fair. Because and it's happened, I've been racially profiled, I've been in racial situations. None I'll get into because it wasn't all that serious. It didn't get bad, but I well, whatever, I was only like that only because, again, I'm more than one race. I'm not just one, and all that negativity that they had to say, or all the negativity they felt about me because of the color of my skin. It's well, I mean, neither one of us can control that, so get over it, or whatever. But I just I as a fellow African American would want more than just the month. And then what also led me to wanting to do something for Black History Month for once outside of being in school, because in school they're kind of like, oh, hey, let's celebrate it, and you're like, oh, yay. What do I do? But I've never heard one household celebrate Black History Month, and if they do, I'm like, I don't know how to celebrate it at home. It's just okay, we're Black, let's learn about, you know what it's like to me. It's like learning about 9/11 every year for the month of September. Hey Kaden, what's going on? Thanks for stopping in, glad to see you. John says, hey, I forget every year. You too? Is it like a mixed thing? Us mix. We just forget because it's coming up. Wouldn't have known. Oh, this green, black, and yellow. But what was I saying? It's to me, knowing that I have to, when I was in school, and even now, just being an adult, to almost feel forced to celebrate it because of my ethnicity was almost like it being force fed 9/11 every year. All of a sudden I'm full black for a month. Sean says all of a sudden I'm full black for a month. Wait, why aren't your chats aren't showing up? That's what the heck is going on? Oh, that's why. Okay. I'm gonna have to read your comments out, Sean, because I have. Oh, that's crazy. I have the wrong chat embedded in my stream right now. I should have the multi-stream chat embedded, but I don't. I copied it from the Twitch embed. Oh, okay. All right, that's all right. Yeah, for the like Sean says, all of a sudden I'm full black for a month. You know, and honestly, like I see it too, where even people who are supposedly full African American, they tend to have this like boost, this buoyancy within themselves and being black and in the culture of African America. It's just like it's just on 200, and I get it, like, you know, celebrate it and be all about it, but sometimes things get out of hand. It's almost like sometimes it gets out of hand to the point to where like when Black Lives Matter was at the peak of its movement, you just started seeing videos of people just shouting it for no reason. Like even the smallest altercations, they would just start shouting it. Like, what is the purpose of this? And I didn't get it, because I think it's not that I don't get it. It's just that in that moment, I want more. I want better for the situation. So like, and my mind skips to just like, instead of kind of like being able to sit and like actually understand these people who are doing this, I get why they're doing it, but I want to skip to the point to where, hey, how can we do better? How can we be better? And I feel like that's why it's not that the Black Lives Matter movement failed, but it plummeted, because there was just like, we got to phase 1, we got to phase 2, but then like there was no phase 3, because then there was like an implosion in the infrastructure. Then the people who started the Black Lives Matter movement were starting to get upset with people outside of their headquarters, like around the nation. They're like, we don't know why you're doing this, because we don't know you. You're not the actual Black Lives Matter name. And then I've also heard there's a theory that like Black Lives Matter movement was like a whole scheme kind of thing. I don't know. I won't get into it, but like I heard that too, and I was like, oh yeah. But to kind of wrap up my little tidbit rant here, yeah, I didn't really know how to celebrate it being more than one ethnicity. And then of course, like, some people look at you like, oh, are you going to celebrate because you are black? Or, you know, I'm like, well, I acknowledge it, but what more can you do? Like, oh, we're learning about the same people every year. I've never actually learned about, I have 3 people that I'm about to talk to you about right now. I've never even heard their names, which is crazy, because yes, I could have did more research, but when you're in school and you're forced to do papers, or like you're forced to celebrate it by doing homework, you don't want to do it. Like, I didn't want to do the research. I had no motivation to do it because it was all based on a grade. If I wasn't being graded, if I was just rewarded with the fact of like, a true celebration in school, I would have probably had more motivation to want to research. But you're saying this is for a grade. Oh, we're celebrating with me making sure I pass or fail. No motivation at all whatsoever. And then I had lack motivation in school anyway because of stuff going on, but it was a whole thing. And because I'm older and I have a platform, and I want to be open to things, I wanted to take the time to really learn people I haven't heard about, and learn their story, learn their struggle. And it all ties into this month's topic, which it really hit me when everything came full circle as to why I wanted to do it. So without further ado, I'm going to give you 3 names that I researched in light of Black History Month for their influence with this anti-segregation and the civil rights movement and just racism altogether. Man, I had a decent time researching what I researched, and I'm glad I did it. A whole new perspective on that part of history for me, and what it means to me and how it's impactful. So let's see. Sean says I won't overload you with chat so you don't got to multitask forever. Oh, it's okay, man. Yeah, no worries. I'll just end up pausing and reading it, that because I want the engagement. I want you guys to feel like you can talk and engage. Yeah, you don't have to silence for me. I'll just scroll up. It's all good. I appreciate that though. I really do. Hayden says, I have some good news about me and my brother. Go ahead and talk to me, man. Let us know in the chat what good news you got. I'm gonna go ahead and read what I got going on here. So, to start, I stumbled upon Miss Audre Lorde. She was born 1934 and passed in 1992. She was a known poet, librarian, and activist for the feminist and equal rights movement. Her love and ability for poetry began in high school. She attempted to use her first poem as an assignment in class, but it was rejected. So she took it a step further and submitted it to 17 magazine, in which published it for her. That became her first big poem. She was a lesbian, and she kept it a secret. And I feel like she was a very good, prominent icon for the civil rights movement, because not only was she African American, she was an African American woman, and she was an African American woman who was a lesbian, gay, and at that time, you know, that's like the trifecta. That's an absolute no. And she, even though she kept it a secret, she lived her life. She stood her ground. She would frequent downtown lesbian bars. So you know, that's where her hangout was. That's where she felt comfortable, and I commend that, because she didn't let anything stop her from being her. She didn't let anything stop her from being a woman, in progressive times, might I add. You know, progressive for women of all color, progressive for African Americans, and then progressive for being homosexual. Newfound respect for someone I didn't even know, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. So upon graduation, she received her master's in library science, to which she pursued being a librarian throughout the 1960s. From 1970 to 1980s, she wrote books and poems. They were all related to the movements that she had involvement in and avid participation. A few of those books come to mind, one being The Cables to Rage in 1970, Black Unicorn in 1978, Sister Outsider in 1984, and Zami, A New Spelling of My Name, which was published in 1982. That one, I learned more about that after I wrote everything down. That book, she wrote that because her name, she dropped the Y on her name, Audrey. So when she was younger, she took the Y off. So it was spelled Audre. And she had a very artistic, poetic way of thinking as to why she dropped the Y off of her name. And so then she wrote a book about it. In her later years, she was unfortunately diagnosed with breast cancer in 1977, and then about 5 years after that, in 1983, liver cancer as well. Due to her initial diagnosis, she felt that there wasn't enough awareness for anyone who was African American, an African American woman, and an African American lesbian who was a victim to cancer. Thus propelling her to write the book The Cancer Journals. In 1981, she was awarded American Library Association of Gay Caucus Book of the Year. In September of 1992, she delivered her last reading before succumbing to her death in November, just a couple months after that. there is a documentary that's dedicated to her and the time that she spent in Germany, called The Berlin Years of 1984 to 1992. So around the time that she had learned about her both cancers, she just took a trip to Berlin, and what she did there was the same thing that she did in America. She fought for equality, fought for women's rights, fought for the civil rights, you know, like the German civil rights. And I guess racism was pretty big over there as well. I mean, I guess with it being Europe and all that, there was a lot going on there, even outside of America. But she was a prominent figure not only in America but also in Berlin, Germany. And I think she also went with her wife at the time as well. But her and the group in Berlin coined the term Afro-German, and they started the Afro-German movement. Very captivating to know that somebody so headstrong was steadfast about the movement, not only on their own turf, but to go overseas and handle business. Rest in peace to Miss Audrey I'm sorry, not Bates. Audre Lorde. I did actually get to the chance to hear some of her poetry, and I think it was in the last reading. You can find the last reading on YouTube. There's a video. I believe it's about 27 minutes long. She does, in fact, have a very good skill with words. She's an outstanding poet. And yeah, be sure to check that documentary out. I didn't actually catch where it was that you can watch it, but I'm sure if you do some research, you can find out where. All right, moving forward, we're gonna keep it going here. So next on the list, I have Miss Daisy Bates. She was born in 1914 and passed away in 1999. At the age of 3, her mother was killed and tortured and killed by 3 men. They were Caucasian. Again, this was in the times of segregation and civil rights. Up until that moment, she did in fact have a friend. Her name was Beatrice, who was Caucasian. After that, of course, there was this growing disdain that turned into hatred for white Americans from Miss Daisy Bates because of what happened to her mom. And it wasn't only just because her mom was tortured and killed, but also that they never, I think what I read is that they never found the culprits. And when I think they stumbled on like 1 or 2 of them, they weren't tried for what they did. So she got no justice for her mom's death. And then, of course, around that time, her dad bailed on her. So, like, her dad gave her up to a family friends, whose name Orly and Susie Smith. They became her new parents, like foster parents, I guess you would say. Orly, her now father, she really looked up to Orly, her new father. I guess they had a really good bond. Her new mother, or foster mom, Susie, not so much. I think Susie was more of the disciplinary, and I guess a bit overboard with it too. But Orly was just, I guess, a very prominent figure and also father figure for Daisy Bates. But you know, with this hatred that she carried with her, she was able to talk to Orly on his deathbed. And I have right here the last words that he gave her before he succumbed to his death. So Orly stated, "You're filled with hatred. Hate can destroy you. Don't hate white people because they're white. If you hate, make it count for something. Hate the humiliations we are living under in the South. Hate the discrimination that eats away at the South. Hate the discrimination that eats away at the soul of every black man and woman. hate the insults hurled at us by white scum, and then try to do something about it, or your hate won't spell a thing. I can't sum up too many more words that you could pass on to your child, especially child that you didn't bear, the one that you took in. I can't add too many more words that will lead them to a more prominent future than what he had spoke, especially in those times. And when I read that, I got chills, because it resonated with me, because I, not in a racial sense, but I understand her hatred and anger. Again, I didn't have any issues with anyone racially, so to speak, but I did at one point hate people, and I just had this growing disdain for some reason. But I wish I would have been able to have someone like Orly to give me those words. I think I mean, obviously I've been told something similar, but I never actually let them one ear and out the other. But me being an adult, and then of course seeing that she was said this very young, in her teens. Yeah, she was a teenager when Orly passed away. Man, to understand, and in those times too, like to understand, to hear that, because what happened is that those words propelled her to be the influence that she was in the times of segregation and anti-segregation and civil rights. All right. So, you know, from that point on, she would go to meet who afterwards became her husband. Um, they met around when she was like 15, and I believe they got married when she was like 28. But you know, around that time that they had gotten married, she ends up, actually, them both, her and her husband, they both moved to Little Rock, which is where the start of everything happens, which is where everything starts for her. So what followed the move was the start of the journey. Both her and her husband started a printing press called the Arkansas State Press. They would print any and all stories related to the civil rights movement and anti-segregation. Arkansas was known for not following the new anti-segregation laws. As the weekly material caught wind of the NAACP, she was elected president of Arkansas Conference of NAACP. In the midst of her election, she also helped with the integration of public schools, starting with the Little Rock Nine. I didn't actually get a whole lot of information on the Little Rock Nine. You can definitely do some research on that if you're interested. But was a big move for anti-segregation, because that's when the bill was passed, and then they were supposed to start implementing African Americans in what were once known as all-white schools. So now there was an integration that was supposed to happen. Arkansas being one of the states that were like, nah, don't care what you say, we're not letting it happen. So the more that there was pushback, the more stories that were being accumulated for the Arkansas State Press to release. And the more circulation those papers got around, NAACP got word, and then they started to involve her and her husband, and they were started to working alongside with the Arkansas State Press and NAACP. So huge moves at such a very young age, very, very inspiring. So not only was she working integration and working guiding assistance with the Little Rock Nine, but she also received praise from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who in turn was the guest to their home. Upon working together, they had him over for dinner. They talked politics pretty much, and just how they see the path moving forward. He was so impressed with what they've done and what she's done. He made her an executive to his committee of the Southern Christian Leadership. Oh yeah, SCLC, tongue twister, but yeah, executive for Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, from that point, she ended up in the Democratic National Committee working under Lyndon B. Johnson, and then working with the anti-poverty program. She would go on to do that, and then in her later years, she established a self-help program that specialized in community centers, street paving, and water and sewer systems. Before her passing, she was awarded honorary Doctor of Laws, and she was granted her own day, which, another announcement, every third Monday of February is National Daisy Bates Day. And I wrote it down. Hers will be on the 19th this year. So if you happen to remember, on the 19th, you may see it in your smartphones. That will be her day. Sometimes Google, if you use Google as a search engine, they like to commemorate icons of the world as like their little setup on the front page. So hopefully we'll be able to see her that day. Take a drink here. Caden says, my school time I got in a tennis match. Okay. Wait, so you got some tennis time. Are you trying out for tennis, or did you just play it? I used to play tennis. I tried out, and silly me, I tried out in flip-flops. I was running the court, long sleeve shirt, baggy clothes, baggy shorts that didn't fit. I had to tighten the drawstring super tight. Tube socks and the Adidas gel spiked flip-flops. The ones that like they had like gel pegs on the sole of the shoe. So when you walk, it felt like, you know, like you were getting a foot massage. But if you run or if you pivot too hard in those shoes, those little gel spikes turn into actual spikes and they mess the bottom of your feet up. I used to go hard in those flip-flops. Play basketball, play sports, and then like my foot would blister up because I was too rough. I like tennis though. Tennis is a very fun sport. I just wasn't cut out for it because I was stupid. Moving on to our third and final entry for our Black History spotlight here. Miss Claudette Colvin. Now, Miss Claudette was one of the very first to refuse giving up her seat on the bus. If you're not familiar, Rosa Parks is actually the symbol they used for this particular event, but Claudette Colvin refused to give up her seat 9 months before Rosa Parks did. Now, the crazy thing about this is that you would think, because this is a time for awareness and change, that they would let anyone and everyone's story be told. Well, unfortunately, not for Miss Claudette. So, as I said, 9 months after Claudette was arrested for not giving up her seat to a white woman, Rosa Parks did the same thing and was arrested, but she became the symbol for this kind of pushback. Well, the reason why they didn't give Claudette the light that they gave Rosa Parks is, one, she was 15 and still in high school. Two, when she was getting arrested, she supposedly went limp, and I guess everyone on the bus that saw that thought that she was fighting back. The cops also stated that she hit them, or hit one of them, and so she was charged with assault and battery, like public negligence and something else, but they dropped 2 of the charges and then just charged her for assault of the police officer. And then with that charge on her record, they were like, no, you're a little bit too rambunctious and too young for us to use to be the face of the movement, so we're gonna go ahead and move into that adult. And then in the midst of her being arrested, her having to go through this, and then leading up to the case, the court case, she ended up getting pregnant by, I mean, by an older gentleman. But that was like the thing at that time. I don't think he was too much older, but they made it seem like because he was a bit older than her, that she was just the wrong pick to be the poster child for civil rights and anti-segregation. And the reason why she didn't give up her seat is because she allowed herself to be, like, to understand the anti-segregation laws. I believe she was actually in Alabama when this happened, and yeah, like everything was starting to be in motion. So she was like, and I know my rights, and I know I don't have to get up. And of course, the bus driver was like, you have to get up. Other people who were Caucasian, like, you got to get up. And the white woman was like, move. And she's like, nah. So hats off to her to being one of the very few to, you know, refuse to giving up a seat, and then in turn propelling the movement to being where we are now. So in the middle of everything, after Rosa Parks got her light, leading up to the case for Rosa Parks, there was an actual court case called Browder versus Gale. That was a huge ordeal in changing everything, because not only was Rosa Parks on trial for that, but one of the 4 plaintiffs that was also on that case was in fact Claudette Colvin. And I want to add this too. From what I read and understand, Rosa Parks was actually aware that Claudette Colvin was not only before her, but a prominent name in the game. She was actually even talking her up. But when it came to, you know, them choosing Claudette or Rosa was like, well, I am the adult, and we can't leave the face of the movement up to a child who is now pregnant with an older man's child and has a record. Well, I mean, you know, to my understanding, anyone who was arrested has a record. But you know, that's neither here nor there for me to say. It wasn't my debacle. But yes, Claudette did get to play a hand in the Browder versus Gale trial, to which, you know, I think everything was in favor of Miss Rosa Parks. But life after that incident, and that limelight, you know, it was very hard for Claudette because she couldn't get work. She couldn't get far, and if she did get work, it was very bare minimum. Because of her record, everyone knew her to be the one who fought back. They're like, oh, you're a police fighter, you know, like, oh, you know, you're gonna give us problems, and we don't want that. So made it very hard. She ended up moving to Detroit, and then from that point she became a nurse's aide for all of 35 years before retiring. But you know, to anyone who actually did the research and was very passionate about the civil rights movement and anti-segregation, someone, I forget the name, but someone actually wanted to grant Miss Claudette her own street name. They wanted to take the street that she had gotten arrested on and name it after her. They sent it up, and after doing some thinking and talking, they actually declared in Montgomery that March 2nd be Claudette Colvin Claudette Colvin Day in Montgomery. So March 2nd in Montgomery is Claudette Colvin Day. So again, it was very, it was a nice breath of fresh air just kind of read about not only the fight against segregation and civil rights as a African American, but I believe I gave you guys all women. I had one guy on here who was pretty much just like Miss Audre Lorde, but I didn't do him. I just wanted to do 3, but all women. Like, just to understand the way that the country has changed in a very short amount of time. Very short. Like 100 years, super short. And 150 years, wow. And like, there are those people who think, oh, you know, slavery was 400 years ago, get over it. 400 years was 4 grandparents ago. 4 grandparents ago. Like, think about that. Like in your life, you'll live through 2 of them if you're lucky. 4 grandparents. So if you can live through 2, that means 40 years before you were born, there was 2 still living. Like that's how far back 400 years ago is, or that's how close 400 years ago it was. Not that long ago. And like the way that everything's shifting and changing, and I don't think some of those people who are still racist don't understand. If there are people who are still racist from that point 400 years ago, there's no getting over it because it's still happening. But to take things a step further from the perspective of someone who's been on the wrong side of racism, yes, we've been through this for about 400-500 years now. It's short, but it happened. It's not my story, but it's the story that gave me the freedom today. But also, the amount of racism has diminished tremendously since that time. It doesn't mean it only means that it's way less. But that means so much, because you can walk on the sidewalk as an African American, and depending on, you know, where you're at, what neighborhood you're in, you guys can cross paths no problem. There may be some thoughts because like you're kind of wired to think that, but you would never act on those thoughts. If I was Caucasian walking past an African American man, whether he looked like he was put together, whether he looked bummy or homeless, whether he looked like a gang member, whether he looked like he was just a street hoodlum up to no good, and yes, they're different, I wouldn't exactly just walk to the other side of the street in fear. One, I know I don't know what could happen, but also I don't know what could happen. So there's no point in making a move if I have no idea what's to be happening, you know? And that's just an unnecessary move. I know in a lot of places of the country it's bad, like the violence is bad, but that's not on one specific person. Violence is bad because that's just how the neighborhood is, and that's unfortunate. But what I'm trying to say is things are just dying down, and the racism has dwindled dramatically. Yes, it's still there, but we're pretty close to weeding out the ones who are still holding on to the racism. Now, the ones who learned it and who are like, oh yeah, no, I'm racist because I feel this is right. Like anyone who's like 60 and younger, you know, eventually when you stop having the influence of those who are like 80 and older, who are actually like racist, saying it twice doesn't make it even more, who were in fact racist, like, you know, to the core. You know, like it's like once they're gone, it's like you have no one influencing you on to be that way, and it's only a matter of time before you have no one to influence that way either. It's like your next of kin won't even be like, that sounds about right. They're like, no, that's stupid, it's just a skin color. Uncle Gary is just as much as a criminal as Jamal is, you know. That's where we are now, that there are Caucasians or Asians or Hispanics that do the same amount of crime as you would see an African American. But with all that, to segue into this month's or this week's topic is that with not only fairness, equality, and kindness, but with love, were we able to see life change for the better. Not only was love present for justice, but for passion, for peace, and for hope. Where there's love, there is a deep understanding, an essential trait for the key of life. Now, what does love mean? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. No more. Oh, I read it and I had to do it. I wrote it down and didn't even think it. I just thought about it now. That's funny. I'm a comedian. Don says, I'd always baseball swing the damn ball when I first tried tennis. Oh, dude, they'd have a heart attack if they saw today. They wouldn't even. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they'd be like, "Your daughter married a what? An N-word? Oh." We're slowly putting them in a very small, secluded area. Oh yeah, no, it's the same way that they reverse gentrified African Americans to put them all in the ghetto. We're doing the same thing with racist whites. I mean, and racist any race, you know. Like we're all just like, yeah, no, you're now the minority 'cause we don't care about what you got going on over here. Oh yeah, I smashed Katie and Juanita. Horrible examples. Horrible examples. John says, "What is wild is we're attacked, but their Uncle Malcolm is still allowed over to their house with the kids." Yo, the crazy thing is racism was the thing, but we're still letting Arkansas be Arkansas. we're still we're letting the boondocks of Alabama be the boondocks of Alabama. If y'all catch my drift, y'all over there living like the hills have eyes, but you know. Anyway. All right, people. So I asked on social media. I got a very, very passionate response back from our main man, Sean. Let me go ahead and pull that up because I actually want to read that again. But I had asked, what does love mean to you? Like, what is love to you? Fortunately, I got, where is it at? Here we go. All right, so John had stated after I'd asked, what does love mean to you? Hard question. It evolves and changes and then holds until a new discovery of how I want to be loved appears and mixes and blends to create a clearer image. I support love. To me, currently, is a real, actual communication or conversation and words of affirmation with intent behind it. Still physical touch. That will be forever. So if this ain't you, that's okay. It's what I need. And honesty. Nice to have those things, and I'm blessed to still have them. I said that was definitely a good standard nonetheless, but reading that again, because I've been kind of busy all day, but reading that again, I vibe with that. Like I like knowing that I can have those conversations where I can like voice what I feel and think, and instead of being judged or being shut down, they're like, okay, you know, or they engage or they agree to disagree. Physical is a big thing for me. Like I'm big on physical, not in public. For some reason, like especially like in public, like we can do little things like small kisses here and there, holding hands, hugging and stuff. But you know, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of old fashioned that way. But I definitely, and not like the kind of like clingy physical. Like I'm more of like a sexual physical. But like I don't know, like I've always been that way. Like I know if I could have that with you being my partner, and not, I remember when I was younger, we used to do like, I was one of those who did it multiple times a day. I was just weird like that, you know, but I have more of an understanding and respect for partners today. But I said partners like I'm not married. Before I got to where I'm at now, you know, I'd be like, I mean, I get it, you know, like I can't do that to people, do it more than one time a day. It hurts. Not me, but it hurts. But you know, and the time's wasted, you know, you don't want to lay around doing nothing all day. I got video games to play, like forget up. No, I definitely, like, for some reason, like I don't have to be, but I would really appreciate it if physical was like a big part of the relationship. Because it's not that I just like get myself off and then like be like, all right, cool. What do you want to eat? Like, no, it means so much more to me. Like I feel like I really get to show my pleasing abilities. I won't go too far into that because this is not the right week for this conversation. But I'm definitely big on physical. I'm a physical lover. I used to be the emotional one where I could write poems and be sweet and stay on the phone all night, but no, never again. So I took the time to really understand the definition of love, even though I'm 32, going on 25. You know, we can say we know the definition of love, but do we really? I don't know. But what I have here is that love is an emotion or affection for someone or something. Or it's a high interest in something, you know, not an obsession, but a love, a passion. In a romantic sense, I would suggest it not to be confused with obsession. Now, there's a difference. I'll get into that here in a bit, but there is a difference between love and obsession. We're going to get to know it, but wait. Now, the actual ideology of love is broad, very broad, because you can, like I just listed here, like, you know, there's passion, there's like a small interest, there's neutral love, there's like heavy love, like what's the thing that people like to say? I'm a I love hard. Yeah, how we allowed ourselves to start saying that is crazy. There was a comedian who actually made that line funny. I can't remember who said it, but it was very funny. But no, like, I love hard. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's actually crazy, because like, if you love hard, I can't do anything, and I'm pretty sure I'm using what was said in the joke, but yeah, like, I can't do what I want if you love hard. You're just gonna be jealous as hell. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I love hard. Like, take it or leave it. It's like, no, you need to calm down. Yeah, that term, so funny. John says, physical for me is a touch, a hand running through my hair, a hug. That's not one armed with a pat, but an embrace where they don't let go and hold you because they know you actually need it. What does that even mean? Love hard? Love hard? In what sense is someone loving hard? I just want to. Now that you say it like that, I'm like, what does that actually mean? I love hard. And you know what's crazy is that people would use that as a sense of like, oh, well, like, I like to shower my partner with gifts. I like to, you know, text all the time to make sure you know I'm getting in. No, really, it sounds like you're clingy. You're clingy, and then it's like borderline controlling. You loving hard means that you get to text me whenever and you're expecting a response, or you're gonna get upset about it. And then you being upset, I'm not supposed to be mad because you're upset. I'm supposed to be understanding that you're upset, that I'm working and you decided to text me 15 times, acting like I'm supposed to respond to you like I'm not out here working. John says, little bitch, instead of loving hard, say you love very deeply and get a little passionate with my partner. Yeah. But you know, like, we live in the era where people just repeat what they hear, what they see and hear, and they're like, oh, that sounds good, I'm gonna use that. Oh, that sounds like me, I'm gonna use that. Like, have a thought of your own. Anyway, love. So I did take the time to understand that there are a few types of love that we express or we see common today. You know, for instance, love with friends or family, love for material, food, a career, you know. There's conditional and unconditional love. Crazy to believe, but there is. And then self-love being a big one. Sean says everybody want to be a Hallmark, nobody want to stick around for the end credits. And read that again. Oh yeah, sure. A few types of love found common today. Love for friends and family. Love for material, food, career, just things. Understanding conditional and unconditional love. I wrote the difference between obsession and love, but I had already said that we'll get into that. And then understanding and practicing self-love. That was a huge one that I wanted to share, just kind of get some insight and you know, just to go over. Like, it's a big one because that's one I had to learn myself. So we're getting into all this. We're gonna start off with friends and family, because that one was a huge one for me too. As you get older, you start to understand you want some alone time. You want, you know, like, you want boundaries to be met. Like, you know, things need to go your way because you are now the adult that they can enforce the rules. You're not the kid anymore who has to follow them. I mean, you still have to follow them, but like, now you have your own space, you got your own stuff, so you can tell people no. Now, when it comes to friends and family, a common way that we practice or we see this is that usually there's more love for your family than there are your friends. Usually, but you know, that's not everybody. You know, some people have family who are non-existent, distant. Maybe you're the black sheep of the family. Maybe your family's toxic for you. Maybe you're the toxic one for the family. And in that case, you might find that friends you favor more than your family. And then of course there's the uncommon, where some people have family friends. Like, you know, you grow up and they be like, oh, that's our family friend Greg. Greg's here. Greg's coming over. Open the door for Greg. You know, having that family friend that watches you grow up and then you watch them get old. I think those are pretty cool, to have that family friend, because like, the bond that either your parents or someone in the family had with just some guy or, you know, person or girl, and they met the whole family, the family really enjoyed them, or like they were just like vibed with the family enough for them to be like at the functions, at the holidays, or hey, call Greg and ask him to, I don't know a Greg, but I'm just using Greg as an example. Call Greg and see if he can, you know, like it. And it's just like, we use the term family friend, but for me, I'd be like, that's family. That's family right there. Be like, yeah, that's Greg, that's family. I don't say family friend. I don't think I've ever used that term for myself, because if I consider you that close to me as a friend, you are family. And that's a lot of my people. But you know, whether it's friend or family, we do allow ourselves to feel and express the emotions through comfort, security, and relatability. Now, I want to ask, for those in the chat and watching here, are you the type to have ever met someone and immediately felt like you'll be their friend forever? Like, you guys will be friends forever? Or that you may have even felt that you've met each other before in the past time, like in history? So yeah, have you ever met anyone and like you just clicked right away and you're like, for life, nothing's gonna break it? Or meeting someone and be like, you know, I feel like I've met you before, but not in this life. But yeah. Huh. Hey. Now, often we see or experience finding a good friend for life at a very young age. So like when you're a kid, you know, you have that one neighbor kid that became your best bud. You guys would share birthdays, go to each other's birthdays, sleepovers, do pizza night. You can go to each other's houses and it's safe. Parents can trust each other. You guys can, you know, you always have that. Growing up, you always have that one friend that your parents like, who? Oh, okay, yeah, you have fun. Tell them I said hi. And then you mention the other friend, and they're like, Nah, I told you about going over that house. You stay outside where I can see you. You understand me? No trust. Or when you take your shoes off, make sure you put them up so you can see them. Don't let them sitting there. They got spiders. They got roaches. Don't bring that back to my house. Oh man, I can't wait to be that parent. Because I'm gonna be. I'm already that way now. But yeah, like, you know, a lot of us had that friend or friends in the neighborhood or that we went to school with that you just were solid with. Even, you know, going into middle school, especially if you went to the same schools. And the fun thing was that you guys went to the same schools and you didn't let your friends groups keep you from being friends. Like, you guys were always cool. Like, if you went to each other's friends group, oh, who's this? Oh, this is my buddy, man. This is my childhood friend. And they get to being funny, like, no, this is the homie. Y'all shut up. It always hurts to know that you have that one friend and like they're with their people and they ignore you, or you know, like when you get around them, they act different as if they don't know you or you guys really aren't that cool. I've kind of been in that situation before, and it sucks. It does suck, but you know, as long as you have a good system, a support system to let you know that you know, even though that wasn't right, you know, don't hold on to it forever. Just understand that person is just showing out, and you know, go ahead and move on. There'll be more friends. It's always good to have a good support system that'll back you up like that. Now, with, you know, whether it be like an old childhood friend or just someone that you met, you know, what makes a friendship strong and worth it is knowing that through thick and thin, you'll always have that special person or those special people. You know, someone, you know, when things are bad, you can text them or call them, say, hey, you know, I'm not doing so well. Can we talk? Or can we see each other? Can I come over? Can we plan something? Or like, even when you're like, when you got something to celebrate or to announce, and you've got supportive friends who are just like, yeah, you go. Awesome. I don't know how to emote when I congratulate my friends, so that's what it looks like. We're pregnant. Dude, that's what's up. So, you know, having those special people is amazing. You know, when they're friends, like, it's amazing. You always call them up and you can be yourself. But it really does feel good when you can find that in family. When you really think of the morality that grounds you as a family, blood, and even family friends. Something happens, you know, like there's a different. I think for me, and then maybe for other people, you know, if you agree, there's a sense of comfort that you get from your family, that you can get from your family, that you wouldn't get from your friends. And you know, that's just like being around them or being with a group of family members for like an outing or a dinner or holidays that you wouldn't get from your friends, you know. I think that's because like when we grow up with them, we know our family to always be there no matter what. And with our friends, we've always seen friends come and go, because you'll go talk to your family about the friends that you've made, and then they'll go like, oh, well, what happened to so and so? You know, they moved, or he got a girlfriend, or we got into a fight, or you know. But you'll catch yourself sharing your stories as you get older with those same family members, and then that's kind of what allows you to understand that you're a family-oriented person, or you can be a family-oriented person, because those people have always been there for you. You know, like or you see them be there for each other or other people, depending on who it is in your family you're thinking about. But they also can give insight to living your life backed by morals, goals, and even culture. One thing I do want everyone to understand when it comes to both friends and family, though, is that you don't always have to love them. I understand I said you don't have to love them. And you also don't have to ignore the love that you have for them. Now, what I mean by that, you can respect a family member. You can acknowledge the fact that they even exist. If there's some issue going on or something, you don't have to love them. You don't have to love anyone. Don't force yourself to do it. Just respect their being, acknowledge their being, and that's it. Just be kosher, be cool. You don't have to love them. And then even with friends, like, you know, like you'll outgrow friends, just like you may outgrow family, because you just want to do your own thing. You've done the same thing for years and years and years. You want to do something different. Same with friends, especially childhood friends. Sometimes, you know, there's people who just either stay stuck in the loop and you've outgrown it, and not that you don't like that person anymore, so you don't care to do what they still want to do, what you guys still used to do. And you have to be okay with understanding that, because if you don't, it'll turn into something different. You got to be true with yourself when it comes to the idea of love. And like love, it has like, it almost in a sense has levels, you know. Never lose the respect, never lose the ability to acknowledge someone in the room, but you don't have to love them, and you don't have to love them as hard as they love you, then it just wouldn't be genuine. But yes, when it comes to family, you don't allow to love them, but respect them. And I think some people expect to be, especially big families, are like, oh, I'm your family, you know, respect me. Like, no, I'll respect you, I just don't love you. Whatever reason you may have, maybe that's a battle within yourself, or maybe that's just something genuinely that you feel for that person, but you don't have to do anything. But it'd be in the best healthy interest to respect one another. And, you know, especially when you get married, you know, like you're dealing with in-laws, allow your partner. And here's the thing, this is a relationship discussion, but I'll say this, like, with love comes understanding, and with understanding comes being able to communicate better and make decisions better as a unit when you're married. If you can't get a partner to understand, hey, you may have grown up with these people, but these people are a type of people I don't tolerate. Now, if you are being the person who doesn't tolerate that specific type of person, and your partner's like, well, it's either all of us or none of me, it's like, well, bye. Because you don't even respect the fact that I came to you as a mature adult and said, I don't do what they do. I'm not about what they're about, and I won't fake it, whatever the scenario. But if they're giving you an ultimatum, don't waste any more energy. And I say that in the sternness that I say is because I think we've all done it, or a lot of us have done it, where we allow people to give us ultimatums as if it's an honor to be in their presence. It's an honor to be with them. It's an honor, you know, there's no honor in anything as far as being with someone, not even with royalty. Because in reality, what does a royalty mean to me? Like, if I'm in America, if I'm in America and you're Queen Elizabeth of England, what does that mean to me? I don't have to treat you like royalty. I'll treat you with respect. Same goes for, you know, like a man and a woman. Just an easy example, because a lot of people think that women have to be put on this pedestal and they get to act however they want, and men just have to suck it up and be a man. No. The woman, anyone for that matter, is making you an ultimatum of choosing them and dealing with what they've dealt with, or being like you're just separating. The person doesn't respect you.
Don't waste your time. Do not waste your time. I also would like everyone to understand, don't confuse love with guilt or pity. As we get older and mature in our own way, we begin to realize people who make their decisions knowing the morality. You can't help everyone. As much as it may hurt, you have to let people grow and learn on their own. Whether it was you that everyone felt guilty or pity for, or whether it was that one person in the group that everyone just kind of like washed their hands with. Sometimes people don't want to learn, they don't want to listen. They'll run for advice, and it just goes one ear out the other. Or they're like, "Oh, I heard you. I really heard you. I really want to change," but they continue to allow themselves to lose, to fall, to succumb to their vices. And it sucks. It really does suck. It hurts to see that someone that you knew is struggling this way, but you can't do more for them that takes away from doing for yourself. Because there is help everywhere. And if a person needs that kind of help, they should be seeking that help, and not all directly from you. They should have the respect enough to say, "Hey, can you help me get in the right direction? Can you help me do this?" Instead of just relying on you as if you don't have a life to live of your own. You know, don't feel guilty. Don't feel pity. Help as much as you can and say, "Hey, this is all I can do." And there's no need to apologize for what more you can't do. Yeah, hey, sorry that you're in this position, but this is all I can do. And that's it. No matter what happens, it should be okay for you to feel that way, for you to be that way, because it really isn't your burden, but also you can't be expected of any more than you can provide. Because then you're shelling out resources that you didn't know you had that you could use for yourself, for someone else. Now, if you're okay with that, that's fine. You know, like if you're sitting good and you're like, "Oh, I've got a resource," cool. But if you know that you need that resource, and this person is a repeat offender, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you know, again," it's like, well, now you're burning your bridge, and you don't want to do that. Sometimes people just like the attention and they don't want the help, and as unfortunate it is to hear that, it's the truth. You can only help some people so far, and then you just got to be okay with being firm. And that's love, because if you were to continue to help someone like that, you're enabling them, and that's not love. If you're going to sit there and watch them hurt themselves or continue to kill themselves in the manner that they are. There's better ways to show that you love them other than feeding into the guilt that they're giving you, because that's all they're doing. They're manipulating you through guilt or pity. But if you can just be firm on your stance, be an actual, you know, guidance or friend, you don't actually have to say yes. You don't actually have to give up anything. Give what you can. You kind of lead them in the right direction. Now, while I'm transitioning here to the next topic, I will say this. I'm no genius at life. I'm no guru at this. I don't have life figured out. I have a lot of answers. I've been shown a lot. I've experienced enough. But in no way, shape, or form do I think I have what it takes to tell anyone how to live their life. I have only the tools that were bestowed upon me, or the tools that I've constructed myself to navigate through life. And I don't have specific tools for anyone. I have exactly what helped me, and I try to give out as much as I can. If I lay out a band of tools. You get to choose what you feel is right for yourself. That's the only thing I'm doing. And that's why I continue to do this with BAFSAF, and then Sketch and Catch with Trey, and then even the gaming, even though it's just me being an idiot. I just try to give you everything that helped me, everything that I saw help someone else. See if it helps you too. You don't have to think like me. You don't have to agree with me. You don't even have to like me. But if this helps, please take what you can, and give me anything that you got, because you could probably teach me something. You could probably help me. We can help each other. This is what life is all about, is being each other's stepping stone, not a falling boulder. So moving forward here, next is the love for materials, that being food, that being career, cars, jewelry, all that stuff. Nothing specific that I have to say about that, pretty short here. But I want everyone to know the difference between love and obsession. I know I haven't gotten to that yet. Only to elaborate on it. You know what love and obsession is. I mean, are you on a laptop, you're on a computer, you're on a phone? Go ahead and Google that. It's a true definition of obsession, and then compare that to love. Because while I'm going through all this until I get to obsession, we may find something out together. But know the difference between love and obsession. My eye itch. Hold on. And please, absolutely set boundaries and be firm. Now, when it comes to material, food, and career, setting boundaries with material, really tell yourself if what you want to buy is necessary. And then tell yourself again, is it really necessary? And then ask yourself again, I should say ask, not tell. No, tell yourself, do I have enough of this particular kind of item or things? Because yes, don't go, but, and then go buy it. Wait. You wait and it's gone, wasn't meant for you to have it. You didn't need it. Save some money. But if you wait and you go to purchase and it's still there, I'd say give it a week. Give it a week. If you can wait a week and you save that money, and then whatever you want to get is still there, have at it, champ. Because now, if you're on a bi-weekly pay period, you've got another week before, depending on, a lot of us spend our money as soon as we get it, but you've got up to a week before you get paid again. So I know, like with me when I was younger, like between the ages of 18 and 25, 26, I would just buy stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, no. And then I sit there and have to calculate how I'm going to spend the rest of my 2 weeks before I get paid again. All right, so I paid this bill. Now I can fill up half my tank. Doing that kind of math just to kind of get by, because we want to enjoy things first instead of taking care of responsibilities first. Always be smart about when it comes to buying material. Like the love that you can have for, like, if you like going to movies, make sure you can pay your bills, make sure you can eat, make sure you can tip. Tipping is not required, but it definitely is frowned upon if you don't. Like you go out, making sure you have enough money to cover what you like to order. And depending on what you order and where you're at, everything's kind of the same price about everywhere you go. So if you order a steak is going to be about the same price everywhere that offers steak. Alcohol, about the same thing. If you're getting a liquor beverage, like vodka, things are about the same price. Tequila, probably like $1 more, right? But everything's about the same price. Beers, everything on tap is about the same price. Depending on what region you're living in. Like if you go from the West Coast to the Midwest, things are probably cheaper in the Midwest. But always be prepared. Like, have an idea of what you're gonna spend and then double it. That way, if you get to that amount, you're like, oh, I still want to have a little more fun. I got a little more leeway. I learned that the hard way. I'd go out with like $40 and then order one thing, and that one thing was like 25.88. I'm like, and we're staying out till how late tonight? And spent all my money. Let's see. Oh, boundaries with food, just don't eat too much. Allergies, just don't take the risk. Location, don't eat anywhere that's dirty or has a history of being dirty. Just don't even do it. Presentation is also a thing too. Like, just if you know that people are just slapping together 2 pieces of bread and some meat, instead of placing it in the cellophane or the box, the container that it comes in, like some McDonald's locations where they're just like, in your burger, and then they send it all in the bag. Take your fries and they just, oh, I made it. All right, yeah. Just go ahead and throw them nuggets in there too. Don't go there. Just don't give them any more business. Let them fail. And then, you know, for career, boundaries would be not letting the boss tell you to stay late. It's not necessarily a requirement, especially if it's not in your what is it, like the document that you signed to start the job. If it doesn't say that it's required that you're supposed to stay late, you can deny that. And if they try to fire you on those grounds, and well, then you can sue, or you can definitely get some good compensation for it, because it's like, oh, I asked you to stay after. I didn't stay. Well, I told you. Well, it's not company policy, so boundaries. Know your limits. I pretty much just went over that. Don't buy too much. Check your responsibilities. Check your health for food, allergens, career. Don't burn, like, and the next thing, it ties in the same. Don't burn out. Like, I've done it before. Like, letting a job burn you out because they're like, oh, you're so reliable. Can you come in today? Can you come in tomorrow? Can you do a full shift tomorrow? Can you do a half day Thursday? Can you do a double Friday? Yes. I've only gotten 3 hours of sleep. Oh, thank you for helping. You don't want that. You don't want someone to treat you like that, because what are they gonna give you? Like, if you got a job who's like, hey, we know that you've really been helping, like, you put in the work, and we know you're tired, so take this day off, and then here's a treat on us. Thank you so much. Not only are you getting that extra money on your check, but they're like, hey, that's not enough. Here, gift card on us. Go get you something to eat. Get some rest. See you Monday. That's a good job. But when you have the job, they're like, oh, hey, your check's gonna look good. Thanks. All right. Screw them. And then with all that, keep aware of your health, you know. With material, make sure you can afford medicine, hygiene, staying cold or staying cool in the hot temperatures and staying warm in the cold temperatures. Yeah. Staying hydrated with food. We've already discussed that. With career, just discussed that. And you know, like, having a passion is amazing, right? Having a passion for things in life is really cool, but don't let it consume you. Don't be so stuck in your career that you forget the world around you, the family, the friends. I think people who call food a passion are just fat. No, kidding. No, food can definitely be a passion, like chefs, or the thing that Anthony Bourdain did. He went around the world and rated food and tried different foods of different cultures and stuff. That was pretty cool. That right there is beyond passion. That's just wow. But you know, I guess I understand the passion for materials, because, like, you know, gamer, like gaming, but I now know my limits when I can buy games and stuff. So I've grown a lot. All right, so I wanted to. My nose is itchy. I wanted to talk on unconditional and conditional love, because that one I've dealt with before, but I felt like it'd be a big impact for a lot of people that would hear it. Because it happens. You know, like I was just discussing with the work thing, that's all transactional, which is all conditional, because you know, like, oh hey, stay and, you know, make this more on your check, or stay and we'll give you this and that. Sometimes they can suck, because like you have plans and they're like dangling stuff in front of you, like, oh hey, forget your life, come work for us. But that can also happen with people. You know, and mostly I'm gonna have to bring a lot of this up in the next episode when we talk about relationships, but you know, like in no one that says they love you will make you feel like you owe them something. That's conditional love. Or when you make someone feel like they owe you out of, you know, whatever reason that you may feel compelled to do that, that's conditional love. Not the best kind, because then it's just eventually gets to a point to where that tit for tat starts to seem unfair. You know, it's like, oh hey, brought in groceries the other day, you mind going ahead and just cleaning up the house? Freesh. And it's like, hold up. Okay, you brought in the groceries, cool, you asked me to clean the house. I did that 2 days ago and you've turned it into a disaster. So how about I rebuttal? You clean the house for the week and then we're game. Game? Game. And then it's just a back and forth. It's a credits thing. It's like, oh, I did this. Oh, well, I did that. Oh, well, that one time you fell asleep and I said, no one asked you to do it. That's what it looks like. And it's so weird that people can live that way. Roommates. If you're not really cool with your roommates, or if you got that roommate who is too cool, yeah, too okay with things, I should say, or the family member, you know, who I guess would be a roommate too, but yeah, people who are just too okay with, like, well, I did this, so you should do that, or even outside of that, like, you know, business partners, like, hey, you know, you wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for me, so why don't we just go ahead and do this? I find it so weird that people can operate like that, and like sometimes because we want so much, or we may want so much of one or two things, like we allow it to happen. I'm here to say there are ways to not allow it to happen. One, seeing the signs. If it's a pattern where someone approaches you, like specifically, like if something needs to be done, and whether they're upfront about it or if they're secretive, like in a secret way, they'd be like, hey, you know, let's say someone doesn't like taking out the trash, and you know, they find every way not to do it. Yeah, manipulate you to get to do it, right? Hey, do you want to take out the trash while I do this? Oh yeah, no, let me take this trash out while you do this small minuscule thing. Because what's it going to be next time? Oh, hey, you forgot to take the trash out. No, because that was, again, you pulled it out of the can, walk it outside. Oh, well, you know, I thought that because I made the bed this morning that you can take the trash out. And that's not a personal scenario. I'm not speaking from experience. But no, that's how it sounds, you know, something like that. But it's so annoying. And it's very uncalled for. It can make things very uncomfortable, especially if you're like family and you're not all that cool. If it's like roommates and you're like, like like let's say you needed a place to stay, and you hey buddy, I'm just really off my game. I need like a month to get on my feet. Can you spare me the couch or the corner of the house? Like anything will do. I promise to stay out of your way. I need somewhere to be so I'm not out in the cold. Oh sure, yeah, no. Come on, friend, come on. I got you. And maybe after 2 days or a week, hey, can you do this and that for me? Oh, sorry, no, man. I've got something to do today. Oh, okay. No, sorry. I just figured since I let you in my house, since you're homeless, that you do this for me. Like that would make you so uncomfortable because me, I'd be like, well, I'm Audi 5. Gather all up my stuff and you go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go find me a bench because no, I'm not doing that. And yeah, it could be a pride thing, but that thing never stops, and I would never let anyone hold that over my head. Never. I'm on descent. Hey, made it home safe. All right, my man. Thanks for checking in, by the way. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like I'm a type of person, like I don't like being in that position where it's like something can be held over me like that, because you never know if that's the only time or if there's more, and if there's more, it's gonna piss me off. So I like to be like, you know what, I think I'm done here. I wouldn't want to continue that or having to go through that. John asks how long I'm gonna be on for tonight. I will probably pass no more than 9:30. I'm trying to keep all the videos under 2.5 hours because it's a lot easier to edit. So yeah, probably another 45 minutes. But one thing is to beware of the signs. Like if you start to see, and sometimes it starts slow. Sometimes it's like, hey, do you mind doing this and that for me? If you start seeing that become more of a thing, be firm. Be like, hey, no, I actually can't do that, or no, I don't want to do that, because then when you start to see someone retaliate to your no, to you being firm, then you know what kind of person you're dealing with, and then you know if you need to make some changes or if you need to confront them, like, hey, like I don't appreciate how you come to me and getting upset that I'm not allowing you to, to allow, like, to want me to do things and like getting upset when I don't do them. Like that's unfair. Because if the person's like, you're right, I'm sorry, I have to change that. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. And if you can see and hear the genuinity in their voice, like, okay, like this doesn't have to be a thing. I didn't appreciate it, but now that we squashed it, it's just, hey, salt over the shoulder, water under the bridge. We're good. We're good. We're good. And nothing changes. But if you got that person who tries to, what's the word, gaslight you, or fail to admit or take accountability for doing it, bail. Bail, my friend. Bail. John asks, gonna game later? I am not, no. Probably gonna, with these Thursdays, I put a lot in them, and I think, so no, because with these BAFSAF Thursdays, after I get off, I take the time to go decompress, because I do put a lot of energy into, like, especially trying to keep myself up. But like trying to stay focused and just like, I don't know, I'm so exhausted by the end of these episodes sometimes, and then other times, like, because I'm more social than I normally am, it does kind of get a little exhausting for me, so I just kind of chill. But also I can't, because I got laundry to do tonight, so I wanted to try to get some teching in, but I was like, I can't, I got stuff to do. Oh man, let me tell you about that. Some people just can't even do that. I know some people who should take off, but they settle. Yeah. Toxicity a bitch, ain't it? Have you tried Viagra? Is that like an actual question, or is that you just being funny? Because no. Oh man. Uh, so yeah, you definitely got to be aware of the signs, and then that want to be the signs. If you get pushed back from someone who's clearly doing it, and you've caught them, and you wanted to confront them about it, like just don't even waste the energy trying to argue or expose. Just go, okay, I appreciate the time and appreciate all you done for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and just make some changes. And again, like I said earlier, did I say it earlier? No, I don't think I said it yet. Don't feel the need to explain yourself. Just don't. No, says being funny. You said you had a hard time staying up. Oh. Oh, you're gonna be a good dad, uncle. Other examples of someone who's on the conditional side. Like, I did this for you, so I got this for you, so or this wouldn't be anything if not for me. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. Or one of the big ones, especially with women. I'll remember that next time. I'll remember that. Okay, I'm gonna remember that. Oh, remember it. That shit. Type it out, print it out, fax it. I don't give a shit. Or the big one. You're lucky you have me. That is very conditional. Can't really explain it, but it's very conditional. More toxic than it is conditional, but I'm just like, because in a sense that it's not like, I feel like in that sense they're not even saying it, but they're showing like, oh, hey, I gave you all this, so in time we're gonna get that get back. Says I want it for sure, and I'm already an uncle, so I just got to get the other side started. Yeah, and then you'll be that uncle / dad in the corner when something happens. You have your little dad line, and you're just like. I also want to note, an unconditional circumstance does not require a credit or keeping score. For instance, let's say me and Sean are out. One of like we're eating, we're getting drinks. Tab hits the table. No, I got it. No, I got it. No, I got it. How about this? I get it. You get it next time. Okay, cool. And let's say 2 weeks go by, we go out, and I pick it up again. Nothing said. Whatever. That's my boy. Third time we go out, I pick it up. I'm not gonna remind him like, bro, hey, it's your turn. I'm gonna just keep doing it. Now, if it's like the 5th time, I'm like, hey, nah, you got this one. But I'm not gonna hold it over his head. Like, hey, like after the meals, I wouldn't be like, I mean, I paid the last 5 times, so I think you could do this at least once. Like, I'm not ever gonna hold that over his head unless it's a good trade, unless it's a good transaction. But how about this? In order to pay me back, I've gotten the tab the last 5 times. How about instead of taking the next tab, you just do this? Is that cool? I would make sure he's okay with it. Like, we would talk about it and we would discuss it. We would negotiate. But if he's okay with that transaction, that's perfectly fine. But I'm not gonna be like, I mean, I've been paying for you the last 5 times. I think you can do something. And expect him to do it. No, that's very forceful and that's very conditional. I'll be like, hey, let's trade. How about this? Let's trade this for that. Boom, done deal. I'm not holding it over his head. I'm not holding a grudge. And I'm at a point in my life now where it's like, if I ever felt that way, I'd be like, hey, I just want to understand where we're at. I've covered the tab 3 times. Do I need to cover it tonight? No, it's okay. I just want to know, because I might limit the spending tonight if that's you know, if that's the case. Oh, okay, cool. And hey, we good, man. We good. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. All right. Like that's unconditional because I'm not confronting him in a sense of like he owes me anything. I just want to be like, hey, am I covering you tonight? Okay, cool. Hey, all right, but you're not doing 5 drinks. It says also being in a spot to where you're terrified to do anything because they may leave you or have broken you to obedience and you no longer realize or remember what actual love is. First of all, ain't no way that happened with us. We fighting to pay the bill. It'll be a fight the first 3 times and I'm gonna look at you like, you touch, all right, you got it. As soon as I see you do this, I'm be like, oh. No, we probably would fight. Make the server do paper rock scissors. No, flip a coin. So actually, you're right. I'm doing 6. Adding to what Sean had said, you know, being terrified or feeling broken to obedience. You shouldn't be treated a certain way before or after a specific event and it be different afterwards. Meaning, let's say, you know, the only thing that can come to mind right now is like sex. So let's say like you and your partner, you know, you guys have been going good for some months and you notice that sex has been kind of different because, you know, like it's not that the passion isn't there. It's just like leading up to, leading up to it, like what it takes to get some sex from your partner. So, you know, you really look into it and it's like every time you end up doing the dishes and vacuuming and cleaning half the house, you get a chance to have some ass. That's like, it's not blatant condition, but it is. Because then it's like your partner's waiting to see if you're going to do that. And then they're like, oh, you know what? He didn't. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and back that thing up on him. That's conditional. Because it's like, was there ever an agreement to who does what around the house? If not, that's very not fair because then you could be watching your partner who's waiting on you to clean up half the house do nothing. But then they're like, oh, you clean the house today? Ooh, you getting some tonight? Why? Because you didn't want to do it? Now you're going to sit here and put no effort in sex too? That's also not by experience. Actually, you know what? I've had a few of those. Nah, that'll stick. That sticks. That was kind of personal. How you putting in all the effort to clean the house just to get a starfish in bed? Nah, but anyway, I already went to that one. Oh, and then you know, try to never settle just because things seem great or you can handle dealing with them. In most cases, the conditional party is trying to break you or weigh you down. Stand firm. John, you're right ahead of me. You're ahead of me. But again, this is more of a this is both a love and a relationship based topic, so more on conditional and unconditional love in the next episode on the 15th. Finally gonna go ahead and get into the differences between obsession and love. Now it says then I'm gonna slide in your wallet and place your card on the table in that case. This is gonna get to a point where we take each other's wallets and be like, no, I got it. Wait a minute. And I'll take your wallet, you take mine, but then I take my card. So when I be like, oh, this is your wallet? Yeah, and then you pull out your card out of my wallet that you have. First card to hit the table has to pay. So let's see. Difference between obsession and love is love has respect, boundaries, and limits and understanding. I know you're probably critiquing me on my English error there because I said "and" twice. I thought my list was done. Obsession to me is like borderline addiction. Because if you think about it, when you think of people who are obsessed with things, like they tend to do things like they what's that term, that phrase, like oh, under no circumstances, right? So with someone who's an addict, under all circumstances will they get their fix. People who are on heavy drugs, like they'll steal from you, they'll steal from family, pawn your stuff, all that, like under all circumstances they will get that next hit, they will get that next fix. With obsession, they're kind of like, wait, this is kind of crazy, right? Are we doing this? Nah, I mean, let's see where it goes. There's a hesitance when it comes to obsession. Like for instance, let's say someone, we've all known those girls who are obsessed with boy bands or male singers, shirt off, oiled up body, and they were obsessed. Pictures in the locker, pictures on the binder, in the plastic part. Pictures at home on the wall, posters all on the wall. Background picture on their 16-bit cell phone, flip phone. John is touchdown, safe trip. All right, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Cool. That's obsession, and you're like learning all the lyrics to the song, learning this person's life. As a young girl in middle school, trying to learn Chris Brown's life. Pictures all over the place, know all the music, know all the lyrics, know all his tour dates and locations. You're not going. You know his favorite colors, favorite food. You do quizzes online to see if you're a match, or if you guys are the same Harry Potter class or club or whatever it is. That's obsession. That's weird, but it's obsession. But like it kind of gets borderline unhealthy because that girl's probably also staying up late at night, losing a little bit of sleep, not too much, just a little bit, trying to find out that one piece of information that no one really knows, but she wants to be the one to know it. John says, you didn't have to look at me that hard for obsession versus love. Boy, that's grown women now. They ain't changed. They obsess over a man in front of their man to this day. The one that people really are crazy about are those Asian ones. That's why I use Chris Brown. I didn't want to. I didn't want to do you like that. But it was also the easiest. It's like that's the easiest obsession that I can think of is females and male singers, boy bands. Everyone with Selena, everyone with Mariah Carey before the work on her body. And then a little bit after, before it got too crazy. The World with Michael Jackson. Talking about let me get a train ran on me. Ooh. That's a bullet train. That's gonna be quick. That's gonna be a dead train because that's a train to Busan. I could pat myself on the back for that one. That's an insight for us. uh, uh, but yeah, I remember I was really intrigued by how big like how huge the success and fame was for Michael Jackson, and like knowing that he would go overseas. Of course, girls of all ages were like fainting on the fact that we that he would just stand, like the one performance where he just stood still and he like made the crowd wait before he like even flinched. John says, "Boy, we better stop. They fan base about to cancel us." They don't even have the attention span to keep one boy band or girl band present. They got too many. They can't handle what we got. Mortar and stomp around like Godzilla in this bitch. I'm gonna put on a spandex suit and go where they look like Ultraman. I gotta stop. I'm talking about my own race. Anyway. But yeah, like, so the difference between obsession and love, let me get back onto it. Last Sean said Michael made women nut with a pinky movement in his pocket they could barely see. Dude, it was crazy, man. Like there was that one where I think he was in the it was like the black, and I think it was the black and gold or the black and silver, but it was probably his Super Bowl performance too, if I'm thinking about it. But she rose up and he just stood there, and he had them wait. Like they were just going off for like 5-9 minutes. He just stood there breathing. But you didn't even know he was breathing. Almost like he was a statue. And then he just went to do this. And then took them off. Like, and then when he started moving his arm and he went to take his glasses, it got even louder. A packed, sold out stadium got louder than how loud they already were. That's how crazy the obsession was for Mr. Jackson. But you know, understanding the banter with me and Sean, although a little bit hush, hush. And then the Michael Jackson thing, like there's loving something and then there's obsession. When you go to certain ends to feel the satisfaction of this, what you call love, that is obsession. Love is being able to well, that's romance, and I won't condone that. That's just a waste of gas. Oh, do I even really actually know the yeah, I do. So I feel like obsession, you kind of ignore the signs and harm of what can be done. And it just becomes more about yourself rather than like the idea of loving like someone. Like say for instance you're obsessed with just someone, like not even of a celebrity. Let's say, because we've known people to be obsessed with each other before, but it all looks the same, you know, pictures all over the place, background picture, like the incessant texting and calling, like, hey, answer me, why don't you answer me, hey, you know, just really above and beyond for the attention, for that pleasure and satisfaction. And it's all mental, not necessarily emotional. It's all mental. It's kind of like how someone can be on their phone scrolling through social media all day. I feel like that's an obsession, because even social media is kind of like a drug to us too. Like, you know, whenever we're bored, we pull our phone out and we just, a lot of us do, pull our phone out and we go to scrolling. And then we're scrolling past a lot of stuff, you know, just trying to find the next hit of dopamine. getting the what is it, serotonin levels, right? Maybe, I don't know my health, but yeah, like that that chemical compound that's like, yeah. When you see a funny video and you're like, I want more, so you keep scrolling for funny, and you know, like you scrolling through all the stuff that you've seen before, scrolling through stuff that you know that you're not gonna like because it has certain things in it that you just are like, not funny. I give it a chance, and then you're like, oh wait. Okay, moving on. That's obsession, because it's like you want more, of more. And with love, like you have boundaries, you have a limit. Like when it comes to loving a partner, like, you know, like, hey, you're tired, I go ahead and let you sleep. You look like you had a rough day, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a break, and then, you know, when you're ready, we'll just sit together, we'll hang out. Obsession is ignoring that. Obsession is ignoring that someone's like tired, and like you want their attention, you want them to want your attention, ignoring the fact that they've had a rough day, and like, oh, let me make it feel better. No, just let me make it feel better. I can make you feel better. Probably can't. And then understanding, like sometimes people, when they're obsessed, they don't want to understand them because all they want is to know that they're satisfied, and then they try to mask it and they try to manipulate you and thinking it's for both of you, and it's not. Can be very uncomfortable and displeasing. So through all that fun, I hope you understand what if you're obsessed, or if you genuinely, if you have like a strong, hard love for whatever it is or whoever it is. I love hard, that's why I be hitting you up like this. John says, I can make you feel better. Boy, you better stop. I'll put you back in them clouds, get you on cloud 9. Mile High Club, anyone? All right, we're gonna round this episode off with the final topic of this today: self-love. Again, this one was a big one for me, and I feel like it's a big one for a lot of people, so I'm a little more focused for this one. So, right off the bat, I want everyone to understand one thing when it comes to self-love. It is okay to be alone. Whether it's being alone because you're single, whether it's being alone because no one hit you up for the weekend, or you didn't feel like hitting anyone up for the weekend, you didn't want to see family, you didn't want family to come over. Be okay with knowing that when you hit that point in your life where you're like, you know what? Turn the phone face down, put it on vibrate or silent. I'm gonna enjoy me today. I'm gonna enjoy me this week. I'm gonna enjoy me this month. Go on vacations by yourself. Go out to eat by yourself. Go see a movie by yourself. Stay home and read a book by yourself. Sleep in. Just go to bed early. Whatever it is that gets you the satisfaction knowing that you had some me time. That's a very, very big plus for self-love, is knowing that, like, revitalize yourself from the depleting energies of being social. We had the talk about the introvert and extrovert in one of the earlier episodes, and you know, people who are extroverts, they feed off being around everyone, but not all the time. Introverts, they lose energy around everyone, but you know, being alone can also be exhausting. It could also sap you of energy. So there's it's not necessarily a balance, but you can always add in that, and it doesn't have to be all the time. Like, if you're thinking about it in the sense of being introvert, like if you're like, oh, I'm an introvert, I can't be around too many people, that's fine. But find a balance where you can be around people. Allow yourself like that social time. And if it's people that you can't be around, find different people. Or just be in a setting where there's people around that you don't actually have to directly interact with. For extroverts, you know, you like to be around people all the time, be okay with just sitting by yourself. Understand who you are without the scene, without going out, without being around people, without the noise. Who are you without all that? Like, really learn that about yourself. But when it comes to self-love, it's healthy to have that alone time. It really is. Because like when you can learn all that about yourself, you learn how much time and energy you've invested, how much you've invested financially. It may even tell you, like, it may even allow you to shed light on who it is that you're actually around. You may be able to sit there and think something that you didn't allow yourself to think, like, hey, you know what? I remember hearing off to the side that this girl had this to say about me, and I let it go because I was having too much fun. But now that I'm actually alone and thinking about it, I didn't like that. Like, those kind of moments can happen when you spend some time with yourself. And then for introverts, do it in moderation. Yeah, do it in moderation. Extroverts, you don't have to pressure yourself to do it for too long. Maybe an hour or two tops. Just like not talking to anyone, not being on social media, not thinking about going out. Just kind of like, I'm present where I'm at right now. And even when maybe not even just sitting there watching TV, like go take a walk alone. Even working out, like, you know, it's like try to work out to where it's not I don't know, I'm not even gonna tell you how to work out, but I feel like working out also works as well. Another big one that I had to learn, and I'm still like trying to like be more prominent about it, but I'm really good at it. It's learning not only to say no when you want, but when you need, and to be okay with it. When you want, when you need, and to also be okay with it. Take it from me. Whenever I would tell people no, I would feel guilty because I told them no. I would cringe because I'm like, I don't want to tell you no, but I should say no. So I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, and I'm just going to let it kill me in the process. I got tired of being killed in the process. I was burning my energy. I was burning my my social presence. Like I was just really giving myself away. At times, and I got tired of it because what would happen is that I would hold on to that that anguish, that hatred for that specific scenario or that specific pattern, and I'd carry that through the week or through the month until it's like finally something allows me to just let it all go. But when I got to the point to where I was able to just say no and mean it, or no and be like and not make excuses for why I should say yes, I just nah, and then not even have to feel like I had to explain myself. Nah, I'm good tonight. Nah, I'm okay, I don't need that. No thank you. It feels so good to be able to do that, because I remember all the times where I would just be like well, all right, and it wouldn't always be in my favor. So it feels really good to be like I think I'm okay for today. Yeah, you know, thank you though. Because when you start to say no and you stop cringing about it, when you get in this comfort, then you start getting to the point to where you may find yourself apologizing. No, sorry. No, sorry. No. So you kind of sound like the stereotypical Canadian. But then you get tired of hearing yourself apologize, because for what? You don't have to apologize for the fact that you don't want something to happen that involves you being there, your presence, your being, your attention. So then I got to the point where I was like, no, I'm good. Thank you though. Instead of saying sorry, say thank you. Like if it's an offer to go somewhere, or if an offer to like get something or buy something, like, you know what really good practice is? Go to the mall and walk back and forth to the kiosks. Or go to Costco and walk back and forth to the AT&T guys, or go to T-Mobile, like go like walk past T-Mobile or cell phone people and let them ask you who your cell service is. And instead of feeling like you have to say anything or explain anything, start telling yourself as soon as you make eye contact, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you. Because when they get to open their mouth, Don't interrupt them. Let them say everything. Hey, how you doing? Hey, who's your provider? What kind of, or like, some people, they try to be slick. That's a nice phone you got. What you got? Oh, this iPhone 15. Oh yeah, the one with the camera. Oh, okay. Hey, who you get that from? Who's your provider? And then they try to get you right there. Because if you can actually acknowledge what they're doing, put your hand up like this. No, thank you. Boom, done deal. Some people, they're like, oh no, like, no thank you, and just walk away. Don't explain anything. Walk away. Practice there. That is like the best practice I feel like you can get, is just telling someone who's trying to sell you something, no thank you. Because then you can start saying it to people that you know. Like at work, hey boss, do you think you can stay in another hour or two? No thank you. Oh, okay. What do you got going on? No thank you. All right. And just get back to work. You owe no one an explanation when you say no thank you. Owe it to yourself to say no thank you when you don't want to, and that's okay. Now, you don't have to feel like I'm gonna say no to everybody. If you genuinely feel like you should say no, okay. But if you're like, nah, I'm saying no to everyone because I don't care, blah 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 blah, maybe take some time to understand why it is you feel like that, because you may be like, oh, everyone's asking for me, but no one's there for me whenever I need something. As heavy as that may make you feel, it's not necessarily the right way to think. It shouldn't be, like I was saying earlier, a credit or a counter or like keeping tabs. That if you were the type of person to give yourself to everyone else, that's that, and when you notice that people aren't able to help you when you're in need, and trust me, I had to think this way too, is that there's a reason why you were the help and you can't be helped, because you're a prominent figure in people's lives, that you have the ability to multitask and juggle everything and help someone in need. And yeah, when you needed help, no one can do it because they're probably still struggling and they just can't help you. Or maybe, yeah, they probably lied and just didn't want to help you back because that's the kind of person they are. But don't let that burn a hole into your characteristic profile and then cause this rot for everyone in the future. Just understand that if you couldn't get the help, you are capable of being able to figure it out. You have the capability to reserve that patience and understanding. You have the ability to wait it out and go through what you have to go through that no one else can, because everyone else struggled to ask you, to get to the point to ask you for help, right? You were probably like their last stretch. You were probably like, oh, I know I can depend on them. Whatever it was, they came to you and you were able to share yourself. They're not able to share themselves because they're not as prominent as you. And it's okay if you're the person who asked for all the help, but you couldn't provide the help when it was, asked for in return. Don't feel bad. I don't want anyone to feel bad because I'm saying all this. It's okay, because it's not like a special person's thing. In time in life, all of us are either, we hit points where we can be the help, and then we also need the help. There, especially in the times that we're living in now, like a lot of us are going to need the help. But when we get to a point that we can give the help, pay it forward. If you needed the help and you got all the help, but you couldn't give it back at that time, pay it forward. When you have the time to give the helping hand, do that, because that's where a lot of people who could help a lot were. They were simply paying it forward. Or they were starting the process to pay it forward, because that is the genuine pass down of positivity, is knowing that you could pay it forward. If you allow yourself to help someone and then they receive that help and it's all love, they're going to pay it forward. If you're like, all right, hey, glad I could help, and it's a done deal there, no one brings it up, no one makes anyone feel bad about it, it's going to be paid forward. Now, if it's in bad I wanted to say bad blood, but that's kind of pushing it. If it's in a negative kind of foundation, conditional. If it's in a conditional foundation, or if it's in a like or even if like you're the one who needed the help and they're like, oh hey, can I do this, and like you don't acknowledge that they needed help, you just ignore them. That's a negative standing, because now the person who helped you is like, oh, you can't even say anything to me. And then the weird thing about it is, like, nowadays it's like someone could reach out to you for help, you don't say anything, you ignore them, but then they see how active you are on social media. It's like, oh, you do know how to use the phone. Okay. All right. Well, now it's up to that person to not make it any more negative by just dropping it, and you just, never bringing it up, or, like whenever you decide, hey, I need help. Oh, again, like the last time I helped you and you didn't want to help back. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're getting that. Because that's at the point where you're like, okay, I can only help this much. Oh, okay. Okay. Because then that person's just going to find someone else. But then that person who's helping, who had the help but needed the help, asked to help again. Like, you can be firm about your boundaries. Like, hey, I can only do this for you. And if it's not in the context of like, oh, because you didn't answer my call. Yeah. Keep it out of the negative. Dang, I really went on a tangent there. I forgot where I was. Be firm. I went off. Okay, it was saying no. Gotcha. Okay. And then don't force yourself to be for someone or something if it isn't an emergency and it keeps you from things. Kindly but firmly decline. So yeah. Don't feel the need to explain yourself. Already said that. I put, for anyone who practices, and even in a religious sense, meditate, or whatever it is that you practice. Like, if it's just like religiously, if it's like breathing techniques, if you don't want to call it meditation, or yoga, whatever it is, where you can find your inner peace and become serene with yourself. That helps, because not only can you do that, and if you know how to meditate in a way, in the sense that you can actually center yourself and you can actually check in with yourself, then you can have those talks about anything. Like, if you're the type of person like me, and Sean might understand too, if you're the type of person where you can sit there and chat with yourself to get answers, that'll help. But then also speak out loud. Don't get stuck in your head. Because if you have a conversation with yourself out loud, one, that's not crazy. Not crazy at all. You are a person. You are an individual. You are someone who can speak. You can also respond. You can talk to yourself. It's okay. Talk in the mirror like that. The people do for pep talks all the time. Why is that the only time that you can talk to yourself? Have a conversation with yourself out loud. Who cares what people think? Because we all have thoughts in our own head. That's talking to ourselves just internally. Why is it any different if you're doing it outside yourself? Because you're treating yourself like a human being who can have a conversation, who's struggling and, either doesn't have anyone to talk to at the time or doesn't want anyone to talk to but yourself. Do it. For me, hey, I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. I didn't like what just happened. Okay. So let's list what I didn't like about it. I didn't like the tone. I didn't like the attitude. I didn't like the physical confrontation. I didn't like how I was busy and I was forced to stop doing what I was doing. I didn't like how it made me angry. I didn't like how I got angry because I didn't want to be angry. I'm angry because I got angry. I'm even more angry. I didn't really appreciate that. Because once you start doing that, you get to a point where you can really like understand the resolve. Like talking verbally to yourself, you just start finding resolves a lot differently, a lot better, smoother than you would be in your own head. Because in your head, it's just like a boggled space. It's like taking a water bottle and shaking up water. nothing's coming out, but you don't actually know what you're doing chemically to everything on the contents inside of the bottle. You're not making it any better by shaking it up. It gets all bubbly depending on the contents of the water or the container and the fluid in the container. It gets all bubbly, so you're just kind of changing things up until it all settles. That's what thinking inside your head does. Just shaking it up, causing things to just build up until it all settles. You solve nothing. But if you talk it out, one, you're releasing that energy that got you so built up, that got you so confused, that got you off your normal game. And then just like you're just letting everything out, you're venting. And you don't always have to talk to yourself. Like, start with yourself and then find someone else to talk to, because if that's how you calm down, you can be a little more clearer with your approach with someone else to get a second opinion about whatever it is you're talking about. Let it out verbally. I didn't like the tone, but I got angry. Why did I get angry? Well, I mean, I didn't like that, but I I shouldn't have got mad, and I told myself in the moment I shouldn't have got mad, but I don't really like that. But I know if and when there's a next time to tell myself when I catch it, because I caught when I got mad and I just let it happen. Talk myself through it. Hey, just don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. It's okay. Yeah, I'm upset that I got mad, but I'm okay now. And it'll be a lot better next time. Yeah. Just really didn't like that happened, but next time. Like, you'll notice that you're just like, if you move your shoulders, let them sink, move your neck, work yourself a little bit, just like get the tension out of your body. Kind of breathe and relax as you're talking to yourself. Have that conversation. And if it helps, I think I've said this before, if it helps, record yourself. Record yourself. Do it like a voice recorder, or do like a camera recorder. Just talk. Hear yourself saying everything that upsets you or everything that you need to get off your chest. And then answer yourself when you're a little more calmed down. Or just watch yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to the tone that you've taken to make that recording happen. Because when you hear it, you're like, oh man. And then you start to allow yourself to really understand, like, I was really mad about that. I was really upset about that. Or, no, I get why I was mad. And although it was right for me to express my emotions, I shouldn't have acted that way. It's just being able to understand you, and the best way to understand you is to talk to you. That's how we understand. Like, you have to. The way that you understand people is the same way you can understand yourself. Whatever that method is. Mostly the method. I don't know what method it is you do to understand people, but talk, like, listen to yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually. Owe it to yourself to really just be like, yeah, we got this. Just say, we got this, because it's you. And if you're talking to you, yes, it's you, but it's you talking to you. Because in a better context, what you're doing is that you in the present is actually your future self talking to your past self. John says, listen to your heart. Bingo. Thank you for that. But when you can sit there and evaluate after everything has happened, no matter what it was, and you can think back on what happened, and you speak it out into existence, that verbal conversation with yourself, what you're doing is that you're relaying all that to your past self. Your present self is now your future self. So now you're relaying all that energy to your past self. So in time, the next phase of you is actually going to be able to live this situation, this scenario a lot easier. He's calling for you. Listen to your heart. Is that a song? Is that an 80s song? Listen to your gut, ham fam. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. But yes, check in with yourself. Treat yourself in moderation. Don't go splurging. Like, I don't know how it is with finances and everything. I'm not a vacation type of person, but you know, spa treatments once a month, you know, a little glass of something once a month, whatever it is that you do to like take the edge off. That's in good health, harmless fun, or relaxation. Do that. I do want to say though, my final thoughts with this topic. I hope I was able to deliver. Love is very much needed in all aspects that I've explained today. Love is very much needed, and you can show love by just being present, or you can show love by gifting a present. There's many ways to show love, and there's many ways to feel love, but as long as you stay with that genuine aspect of what it feels, it's that warm sensation in your heart that allows you to do something comfortably, knowing that you're not going to ask for anything in return, you don't expect in return, but you're doing it just because it feels right. That can be love. And there's no book to how to love. If anyone's ever trying to tell you that there's some guideline to love, then that's just their guideline to loving them. And if that's not a guideline you wish to follow, you don't have to follow that. You don't have to be the one to love them. You don't have to love them the way that they want to be loved, but they can't accept that, then that's on them. They don't have to accept it, and you don't have to offer it. But, you know, there's no agenda, there's no instruction booklet on how to love. It's whatever you have noticed works. But it has to be genuine emotion. It has to be a genuine act. It can't be selfish. It can't be conditional. It can't be in all like a one-sided benefit. Love is mutual. Love is neutral. Love is the foundation. And listening to me say all this, you've probably thought about who it is that you love, whether if it's a love for like to pursue a relationship, love as a family, love as a friend, love for a pet, love for things, whatever it was that I speaking today made you think of, that's probably most likely what it is you love. And I hope I was able to allow you to think about how you love them, if you could love them any better, or if you need to love them any less. If it's a benefit to you to continue to love them the way you are, or if you need to make some changes for yourself. You can love from a distance. There is such a thing as loving from a distance. There are people that I've known and I've grown to love. I don't talk to them anymore, but I see that they're okay. I love them from a distance. Nothing personal. It's just things are different now. And I am okay with that. I like to know that people are alive and well and they're not struggling, they're thriving. That's all I can ask for. It really is. Because without the foundation of love, there is no relationship, which is going to be our next topic coming on February 15th, Thursday. We'll probably start it at 7 p.m. I think I'm going to go ahead and push back to 7s because like every other 2 episodes, I do 7 o'clock. So I don't know. I might just do 7 p.m. So I'll keep everything updated in the socials. Sean, any last words? Because I'm about to close up here. Aiden, if you're still around, thanks for popping in. I really appreciate you sticking it around to listen, or just to, you know, put the numbers up. I am gonna take this time. I hope everyone has a wonderful month, wonderful February, wonderful weekend. Make sure you stay dry, stay safe, stay prepared. I'm not gonna see anyone for Valentine's Day, but I'll make sure to put it out there. But if I don't see you, if I don't hear from you, if you don't hear from me, happy Valentine's Day. Don't spend too much. Enjoy the company, not the material. Eat lots of chocolate for me because I'm going to try to cut back again. A lot of weight. And take whatever time you have to understand, learn, and appreciate African American history for the month, and then even beyond February, but beyond Juneteenth, beyond Martin Luther King Day, Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Sorry. Happy Lunar New Year if I don't see you on the 10th. I'll be putting posts on socials for that as well, just for anyone in the area to see where you can go, what you can do, and what we'll end up doing myself. I think Sean's probably busy getting home. Sean, thanks for popping in. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because I was supposed to have been off already. But to everyone viewing, watching, thanks so much for stopping in. Thanks for taking the time to see this. I hope it helped. And then I will see you on the next stream, whether that be game stream, sketch and sketch, or BAFSAF in 2 weeks. See you then, everyone. Take care.